Have you ever wondered how the biggest conflict in human history, World War II, was sparked? Our journey begins with the Treaty of Versailles, the peace agreement that ended the First World War but left Germany in ruins. The treaty's harsh terms crippled Germany's economy, stoking the fires of resentment and paving the way for a new, dangerous ideology. Enter Adolf Hitler, a charismatic figure who capitalized on the nation's discontent. As leader of the Nazi Party, he promised to restore Germany's might and undo the humiliation of Versailles. His rise to power in the early 30s marked a dark turning point in history. Fast forward to September 1st, 1939. Germany invades Poland, defying the international community and shattering any illusions of peace. Hitler's ambition had finally pushed the world over the edge, and so, with the invasion of Poland, the most devastating war in human history was set in motion. The war didn't stay confined to Europe for long, did it? As the Axis powers led by Germany, Italy, and Japan flexed their military might, they began to invade other European nations, extending their reach and tightening their grip. From the icy landscapes of Norway to the sunny beaches of Greece, no corner of Europe seemed safe from their onslaught. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, the United States had been maintaining a policy of neutrality, watching the war unfold from afar. That was until December 7, 1941, the date that would live in infamy. The surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, a naval base in Hawaii, seared the United States into the conflict, transforming them from spectators to active participants. The formation of the Allies, including the United States, United Kingdom, and Soviet Union, was a pivotal response to the Axis powers' aggression. However, as the war expanded, the world watched in horror, waiting to see what would happen next. Every war has turning points, doesn't it? World War II was no different. To understand the shifting tides of this global conflict, we delve into the key turning points that signaled a change in fortune. The Battle of Stalingrad, a brutal confrontation between the Axis and Soviet forces, served as the first significant turn. The city's ruthless defense, and the eventual encirclement and capitulation of the German Sixth Army, marked the first major defeat of Hitler's war machine. The Battle of Midway, fought in the vast expanses of the Pacific, was another pivotal moment. American forces, intercepting and decoding Japanese messages, turned the tables on the empire of the rising sun. The sinking of 4 Japanese aircraft carriers signaled a decisive victory for the Allied forces, and a turning point in the Pacific theater. Finally, the Allied invasion of Normandy, or D-Day as it's commonly known, marked a dramatic shift on the Western Front. Thousands of ships, planes, and soldiers stormed the beaches of Normandy, breaking through Hitler's Atlantic Wall and opening a new front against the German forces. These turning points marked the beginning of the end for the Axis powers. Eventually, all wars must come to an end, and World War II was no exception. The final stages of the war were marked by events both devastating and decisive. The United States, having developed a new weapon of unprecedented power, dropped atomic bombs on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August of 1945. The destruction was unimaginable and the impact immediate. Japan, already weakened, could no longer continue the fight. Meanwhile, in Europe, Germany found itself cornered. The Allied forces, relentless in their pursuit, had pushed the Germans back, slowly but surely. Berlin, the heart of the Nazi regime, fell in May 1945. The surrender of Germany was a significant turning point, marking the end of the war in Europe. However, the war was not over until the last of the Axis powers had been defeated. Japan, following the devastating atomic bombings and the Soviet Union declaring war, announced its surrender in mid-August. The official signing took place aboard the USS Missouri on September 2, 1945. With the surrender of the Axis powers, a war that had ravaged the world for 6 long years finally came to an end. The war was over, but its effects were far from finished. The aftermath saw the rise of 2 superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, setting the stage for the Cold War. The formation of the United Nations aimed to prevent such a cataclysm from happening again. Yet the scars of the war remained, affecting millions and altering the course of history. And thus, even after the last shots were fired, World War II continued to shape our world in ways we still feel today.